John, Wade, Nikki, Michael, Rosalind, Diana, John, Major John. Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. Dun, 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 dun. And we've got Q4 earnings ramping up. We've got big tech earnings coming down the pipe. And 30 minutes of your requests will be here today. Hey, Joseph. Good evening. If you want to chat with me, if you want to be able to make requests, this show right here, 30 Minutes of Awesome, is the only show of the day, of the week, of the of the week that I do requests. So you got to make sure that you click the button right here, however it is right here, and be a subscriber on the channel. That way, when I get to the request part here in a few minutes, you can make requests. Hey, Brian, Andre, Infinity, Gaten, good to see everybody. And here we go. Here we go. Shall we get started? Welcome to the show. I'm a little bit worn down today. And the boys will be home. My boys finally and Rongamer be back from their trip here in, I don't know, next 2-3 hours or so. But here we go. Here we go. This is this week right here. We're sitting here at the close. We've got these guys, a few more banks coming in. We've got some chip stuff in the morning. Johnson & Johnson, Ally Bank, a couple more banks tomorrow morning. First Horizon, Northeastern Trust, or Northern Trust, excuse me. We've got tomorrow at the close, United Airlines, Alcoa, Discover Financial, Equifax, First Industrial, and then we're getting some techs coming in here. TSM, Taiwan Semi. We're getting Netflix coming in Thursday. Noki, Cintas, PPG. This will be interesting. A DPZ, a food one, DR Horton, some housing. So Netflix is kind of the start, and TSMC, TSM right there. We're seeing Taiwan Semi and Netflix kind of lead the bandwagon on big tech. Next week we have Tesla coming in on Tuesday, and that's the only one I honestly have memorized at the moment. I think we're gonna see. I don't remember. We'll have to look at when Apple and Amazon and Google and Microsoft all coming in. They'll be in the next 2 weeks, I'm sure. Should be anyway. So there we go. Kimberly is here, my favorite subscriber. Dun, 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 dun. Rongamer is there. He says 2 hours and 15 minutes out. So yeah, about a little after 7 my time. So we'll have to wrap this baby up. Anyway, welcome everybody. So working on it here. That's Q4 earnings, big tech earnings, all getting started here. So it's something to be cognizant and aware of that can move the market, especially when we look at the fact that big tech has been driving us higher and higher. I mean, look at these numbers over here. Absolute ridiculous. Absolute ridiculous. Look at this. 3.6 trillion. It was just 3.5 trillion last Wednesday. Now it's 3.6. Added another $100 billion right there, leaving Microsoft in the dust here, and Nvidia just sitting there like, what the heck happened? Down here, not really much happening at $126 a share. And just think about it though, for Apple to double, if you're like, I'm gonna buy Apple because it's gonna double, think about that. For Apple to double right now, to go from $234 a share to let's say $470 a share right now, this would have to jump from 3.6 trillion to 7.2 trillion. 7.2 trillion with a T. Just on Apple. Just for Apple to double. Law of big numbers. These three companies right here, not likely to make big moves in their share price going higher. Now, can they do stupid stuff and go higher? Sure, they can go higher. They can push these numbers to ridiculous heights right here, but it is unlikely we see this continue for a long time without something crazy happening. All right, think about how much money has to soak into that to double that share price. It has to basically absorb all of Microsoft just to push that, and that still doesn't get us to double. It has to absorb like all of Nvidia to make Apple double. And then we still don't get there because we're still not enough. So be careful. All right? Be careful, be careful, be careful. I mean, look, for Amazon to double, that would take $2 trillion. So we basically have to soak up all of a Saudi Aramco or all the market cap of silver and then still add a little icing on top. Or almost, add the value of Google to Amazon to double one of those two. It's incredibly difficult to fathom right now. I mean, TSMC could double, and it still doesn't make it up to the size of NVIDIA right now. That's how much discrepancy there is between just the 10th or the 11th place. 10th if we can't. No, it's not even 10th if we knock out Bitcoin, silver, and Saudi from being on the list. We're just talking about going from like 8th place here with TSMC. And that earnings is coming out on Thursday right there. Right here. And then we roll on down. This one coming out next Tuesday. And then Netflix is on down the list here. When you talk about opportunity, Netflix, look at that. At 282 billion, we could double that one, triple that one, quadruple that one, and still not be anywhere near the top up there. Same with AMD here. So definitely a large discrepancy between just stuff down here in the 40s and the stuff up here in the top 3. Even the top 6. I mean, gold, of course, sitting there with $16.6 trillion on it. And it's interesting to think that might explode higher from here. It's just wild, but that has a much wider participation going on and a different scarcity situation than these down here. And also, think about it. Bitcoin right here, if Bitcoin doubles, this doubles. Goes from 64 to double that, right? Talking about 130, roughly. That only puts it right up here. Isn't that wild to think of? Isn't that wild to think of? I mean, NVIDIA is bigger than all of Bitcoin times 2. That just messes with my mind slightly. Anyway. Dun, 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 dun. Hold off on requests. We'll get there in just a minute. I usually do a brief market update. Now, for those of you who've been with me a while, something happened today. That something is that close right there. Dun, 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 dun. This sets the stage. Tomorrow's the entry at the open. Target right up here. Right up in here. That's the conservative target. The more aggressive target, potentially up here, on up a little ways. And there you go. I've got it maxed out. There's no more volume to increase at this point. And there we go. There we go. Now, that kind of sets the stage. If we break above that, 618 there, tips the odds. Dun, 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 dun. Right there, that 110, 120 target I've been talking about for a long time. We start tipping the odds if we get that up here, that move up through the 618. Then we can see that in the coming months, possibly into next year. Right there. Beautiful setup. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. If it lets me down now, I'm going to probably go sit in the corner and cry. This one right here, also coming up in a big way. Potentially going to get that extension. These, I'm super excited about these. We have that one closing above. Sets the stage, 5, 6, 7, possibly 9. And this could lead to much bigger things. Much bigger things. Probably a resistance up here. But that would be absolute wild. Absolute wild. I'll probably be off of this one way before I am tomorrow. There you go. Those two looking pretty dang good. And people, I'm sure, they're going to ask about like Riot. While it's coming up, it's still got a ways to go to get up here above 16. Still got a long ways to go. Still meeting the prior high resistance right here. Still makes me very, very nervous right there on Riot. And you may be like, well, what about XYZ? You can request those when we get there. Just give me a few minutes. I'm going to go through the market, kind of give you a high level update on where we are this week, and then we'll circle back and take your requests as we always do. So, kicking it off with S&P 500 futures here, and we got the nice strong close up above that. And we tried once, twice, 3 times, my lady, and we got the close up here today. Probably setting the stage. We're going to go potentially higher. Working on up to 5,800, possibly 5,850, and 6,000, kind of the top end that I expect right now. Not much to say there. Just keep grinding higher. One of these days, though, we're going to get the final little squeak higher, and then we'll get a knee-jerk reaction. Don't know what it'll be the cause. Something will be. Just not sure which thing it's going to be. Now, somewhat more bearish. This is interesting because we're seeing a rotation out of the leaders. Big tech. If big tech earnings miss it all, this could be a knee-jerk reaction while S&P still pushes higher. We can see we've been very concentrated. S5 FI right here coming up strongly, back up near the top. S5 TW stocks about the 20-day, back up out of the top. This is a cautionary zone. We don't typically go much higher than about 95, where 95% of the S&P 500 stocks are above their 20-day. We're seeing this coming back up very quickly. And then S5 TH stocks above their 200-day, and look how fast that's moved. This is not known as a fast mover. All right, we've seen a lot of S&P 500 stocks all of a sudden, like roughly 14% of them have suddenly reversed back above their 200-day. And this one did top out back here at 96%. Back here in April 21, before we made the ultimate high in the market in January 22, and then went on a large correction into the October 22 lows. So can we go down? Absolutely. We went down where only 2% of the S&P 500 companies were above their 200-day moving average in COVID. Then we shot right up to where 96% were above their 200-day. And if we get up to this point right here, watch out. Watch out. We don't go visit that kind of extreme very often. We certainly don't hold on to it for very long when we do. Usually it kicks off a bigger correction almost every time. So watch out for that right there. If we go breaking out, make a higher high, watch out. Alrighty. Moving on. So that's S&P versus Nasdaq right there. And if you aren't sure what Nasdaq in Q1 exclamation point, that's basically QQQ. All right. You divide these numbers right here by 41, excuse me. Divide them by 41. But this is not making higher highs. S&P is making higher highs. Nasdaq is not. And in fact, it pushed briefly below the warning level I had this morning, caused me to add a small risk position for potential short because that price action looks bearish, even into the close. Watch out for a larger flush going on here. That's what caused me to get short. And I bought some SQQQ, just a couple calls, looking for a double, just a quick double, just looking for this to flash down, potentially below this low back here, back down around 20,000, probably find support there, and then we can go higher in the market. So we may see a little bit of churn for the next couple of days till this plays out. Russell here went on a mega run. All of a sudden, it's like a beach ball been held under the water right here. And, I mean, that is a crazy, crazy move up on small caps. Right there. Could this go up and hit a higher high? It absolutely could at this point. It's kind of tipped the odds that we might see that. I mean, we're just seeing money flowing back into small caps very, very strongly. I mean, that's just an insane kind of move right there on Russell. Right up into my target zone. And it did that, kind of floated around for a couple days, and then 1 big day, 2 big day, 3 big day, 4 big day, 5 big day right there. This kind of move just doesn't really happen on small caps that often. I mean, that's a 12% move in like 5 days. Absolute crazy. Absolute crazy. This may be a finishing type move, a finality type move. I would watch out. I would be very, very cautious here. At this point, I have to warn you. Like if this hits resistance and turns down, breaks below that roadmap line, watch out below. We are going to flush out this thing. Now, if it can actually break higher than the resistance we're at right now, we possibly could see an extension, 2577. I don't see it very likely, but it's entirely possible, especially with the strength we're popping up. We could pop up here and then go on the bigger flush. Oil, zoom this chart up. Look at that, so close to getting to the roadmap line today. Really wanted to see that touch. We got just a couple more bucks. I want to see that touch, bounce, hold, move higher, break out above this consolidation or these ties. I guess call it the highs. We had, we touched in this zone back here in April. We touched here in July, touched here again in July, and we were down here. If we can break through that stuff right there where the orange box is, sets the stage. We're going higher, probably up to this $90 area right up here. And then Brent did touch already. So this is more clean and more clear than CL right there. 1, 2, 3, right down in here. Could go a little lower. I want to see that turn and burn. Probably get up into the 88, 89 area on that move, which probably sets this up to go even higher right there. Probably 94, 96. And then we could see a mega move get going on oil. Mega move. Now, how do you trade Brent and CL? You can trade it with USO and you can trade it with UCO right here. That's two different ways to play. All right, moving on. Gasolina broke down below the roadmap line. This is interesting here. Showing a little bit of bearishness here on gasoline. Coming down, but that's a measured bounce potential. Measured bounce potential. Need to be careful here. Need to be very, very careful. That if that turns and burns right here, that's basically the rocket ship pattern. This is a warning, all right? Measured bounce and market roadmap setup right there at the same level. This can propel this much, much, much higher. We're talking about not even stopping at $3, maybe going cruising, maybe going and breaking out and heading on up to $3.50, possibly $4. Maybe even breaking out and heading on up higher to $5 a gallon, $5.75 even. That's what kind of results we could have out of the rocket ship pattern if it goes. Like there's no guarantee we're gonna go. If we break down below 238 to 238, 235 ish, sets the stage. We're gonna go flushing on down a little bit, but right now, very, very dangerous. This can be the rocket ship pattern. This doesn't show up very often, where we get the market roadmap and the measured bounce at the same levels. So this is gasoline. You can take advantage of it with just about anything oil related right there. That's gasoline futures right there. You can go buy RB1 futures, just /RB on most of the futures enabled trading platforms. All right, you can buy options on it too. Heating oil, however, found resistance. This is diesel fuel right here. Found resistance at the roadmap line. This is still bearish. So can gasoline go higher while diesel fuel does not? That is the question right now. Some people, a lot of analysts would say no, but this can turn and burn also. Like this doesn't have to be bearish, even though it's a bearish setup right now, even though it's a bearish slant. We've had resistance right back here and we went lower. Then we had resistance here. Does that result in a lower? I don't know. Can we go lower on diesel while we go higher on gasoline? Entirely possible. Entirely possible. So be careful. Yeah. That's crazy. $10 a gallon. That sounds like European prices. They charge you like $10 a liter or something. Anyway. NG1, natural gas, has broken down the measured bounce line coming up right here. That support right in here. If we get below it, watch out for the bigger flush. If we turn and burn here, if we turn and start rising, the upside target probably up here around $4. That'd be the upside target. If you want to know how to play natural gas, like UNG. Or, you could go with oil as like another way, or what's the other one? Cold is the inverse right here. This one's going to drop while the others are popping. So there's different ways to play natural gas. I don't necessarily play gasoline or diesel very often, so those aren't ones that I have a nice clean way to play. I do have ways to play oil. Not really a great way to play gasoline or diesel, because that's not really a clean way to play, and they keep it that way on purpose. Gold was the big mover of the day in a lot of my accounts. Look at that baby go. Look at it go. We are definitively above the prior highs. Setting the stage. Go cruising. 2,500 next upside. 2,550 really is where I want it to go. Maybe even 2,590. So 25, somewhere in this zone between 2,530 and 2,590 would be my ideal place to at the minimum. And if we go even higher, even better. So this can go rocking and rolling up to 3,000, possibly even 5,000. It's on the way. On the way. Silver right here. Looking for this to actually get going. Also, it's going to have to break out above this prior high right here. And we could see this take shape any day now. Pull that over like this. Break through that. Probably going cruising 35, maybe even 40 on the upside. I'm up like 5,500% on that synthetic silver I took way back when. So ways to play gold and silver: GLD, GLDM, SLV. Those are different ways to play gold and silver. All right. Moving on. Copper, still looking more bearish. Probably going to at least go test the roadmap line, if not break on lower. If you don't know what the roadmap line is, links in the description down below, or you can go to the homepage of my YouTube channel and watch the video there where I give you the code and all the stuff. But if you want the easy button, it's $5. You can put it on your chart. I give you a masterclass, give you a watch list every week for like 3 months, all for $5. I mean, it's the easy button. I mean, if you're just more of a DIYer, go watch the main video on the homepage of the channel homepage when I'm done here. Lumber, yeah, this has never been the same after they changed the contract back here in 22. It looks like it's going to do something bearish here. And then housing and corn and wheat and sugar, lean cattle, pork, soybeans. All that stuff's on here if you want to request it. We have interest rate futures and all sorts of other stuff. So we're to that point where I'm going to go through a couple crypto tickers, and then you can ask for requests. But you're going to have to give me the complete ticker in capital letters. Don't just, give me a company name. Give me a complete ticker in capital letters. And if you've got a deeper question, please use full, complete sentences to ask your question about the ticker. Bitcoin came up, closed right there yesterday, and basically getting a doji today. No, we tried to retrace it, got rejected, so we retested the back. Basically, we've got this high, this little high in here, this support, and we came on down, and it makes kind of a trend line, right? We broke through, and then we crushed it back down through. Then we're coming back up. We moved up. We came back, retested it. That can result in this pop over here, and then a potential retrace. I was speculating this morning. Now, if you want to know more about that, you can watch the video from this morning. But essentially the same stuff. We tested the breakout. We can go higher very quickly, and that could lead us right up in here in the next couple of days. Now, the big catalyst that everybody's talking about, that given if you need, you're somebody that needs reasons for things. The reason would be the spot ETF approvals on Ethereum, likely to start trading next Tuesday, some point during the day. I don't have like a timeline yet. Could be first thing, could be midday, could be 10 o'clock in the morning, slightly after that market opens. These S1s are tentatively going to be approved and set for trading next Tuesday. That can be a large catalyst for an upside on this one. For a long time, I was looking for that touch of 3,200. We got it. We're moving up quickly. We start breaking above this 36.57 area. This sets Ethereum up to very rapidly appreciate, possibly 44, 48, And we can look at the bigger picture pattern that sets us up. Got to zoom out just a little bit. That high, this low right there, possibly 6,000, possibly 7,000 right there on Ethereum. And it wouldn't surprise me one bit because this move up already triggered that potential for these bigger targets up here. Very quickly, we can see that ramp right up in there. Very, very quickly. And you may be like, well, how much money is that really that we're looking at in the market? And if we go over here to coin market cap, we look at the fact that Ethereum is sitting at $400 billion. Bitcoin sitting at 1.27 trillion. So 400 billion, just to double this baby, take us up to 7,000. So $800 billion, still smaller than Bitcoin. All right, we're only talking like this is a lot of big number stuff. You know, when we're down further on the list, we're down here. We can easily absorb more money and take it right up in there. And I don't see. Did I scroll through Ethereum, or is it not even on the list? Dun, 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 dun. What did I say? What number? 400. I was way down further. 400. Scroll back up. 400. Where are you at? Ethereum. Let me see. Oh, there it is, right there. Ethereum coming in at number 28. Right there it is. 415 billion. So this could double and put it right up in this area with Tesla. So not entirely out of the realm of possibility for that to double right there. All right. Dun, dun, dun. That time. What is that time? It's time for requests. I'll do at least 30 minutes of request, if not a little more. Remember, please type in capitals. The rules are 1 ticker per person per request. You have to wait for somebody else to go before you can make another request. And we'll get her at her. All right. I saw MOS up high. Hit MOS. And that looks like a pretty crap chart. Probably going down in a blaze of glory. That's a downtrend. Support. Next layer of support. Probably down around 22. Right there. There you go. Can it turn here? Could. Is it likely? Not really. And there we go. And dun, 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 dun. Let's see. And Apple next up. Running through the chats. So we've got resistance. This is basically stalled out here. 220 was my upside target. We kind of came up there and we busted on through. So 240 on the next upside. Law of big numbers. Watch out. It can just fade out right here and fail. This is getting hypoxic. It's going to need to retrace 192 right now. Support, possibly 194, 95. Probably retest that $200 breakout. Would not surprise me one single bit. And if we don't hold it, you can go on a pretty epic retrace. All the way back to 100 would not be all that crazy, actually. And could go even deeper. Please be careful. Please, please, please be careful on Apple. Avalanche USD is sitting here, potentially turning at that support right there. Potentially. But it hasn't done anything. It's still a lower high, still under the roadmap line, still has the potential to go down to 18 down here. Not too good. It took a pretty good chart pattern and mucked it right up. Set up the stage that we could go lower on Avalanche. EXAI. That's a nasty chart. Why would you want to trade this? Holy beep. That looks like a nasty chart. I mean, hate to tell it. Hate to pick on your chart, but that's pretty bad. That. Eventually we run out of room, and then we do that. It's a dumpster fire. I mean, that's what that is. Anyway. UPST. Another one in a downtrend. Be careful if we can break out above this stuff in here. Oh, we could go higher, but wow. I mean, it spiked back here, did another spike here, lower, do another spike here. So far lower. No big signs. We're getting out of here. Be careful. It can easily go down. To put it in log mode so we don't go negative. 730 possibly on the downside. And Z for Zillow still has that set up to break on out and go higher. We got it. Now, it may come up in this vicinity right here around 56 to 60, stall out, do a retrace, because this is potentially kind of a sloppy 5-wave up so far. But this could be a nested 1-2, 1-2, and this be the wave 3, and we get a 4-5, 4-5, and we top out somewhere up here. That's the potential. I am long Zillow for the record, up about 30% on my options from the breakout that I bought back here. When we first broke through the roadmap line, did not add, just sitting on a couple contracts. All right, Tesla. We did the breakout. We did the retest here of the breakout of this long-term downtrend of highs. I say long-term because it started all the way back here in November of 21. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Then we broke through right here. Everybody says Tesla's doing horrible. They're not selling any cars, but we broke through. We retested the breakout, moving up. Now, the cautionary point here, if we get up into this 275, 280, maybe even 300 area before earnings, we're probably, if basically anything higher high than what we made right back here last Thursday, that sets up a pattern where we could correct right down here, back into this 200 to 190 to 210 area right here. Very, very easily. Could correct that back and then set it up for the next move. All right. That would complete a potential 5 waves off the low back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, so that very easily could complete a 5 wave up. We get a deep retrace here and then go on the head up to this 500 area right up here. So all it takes is a higher high than we had Thursday, sometime between now and earnings next week. Now, if we don't get there before earnings next week, we may spike on earnings and then drop. Either way, it looks like we're probably tilting toward a drop on earnings, which is, what, 70-something%? I'll go through it next Tuesday. I'll talk about it more as we get closer. 70% of the time, we typically drop on earnings. Last time was the rare pop. Of course, we had plummeted into earnings, and then we popped, retraced, and now here we are on the breakout right here. 3, 4, 5, and then we get a bigger, deeper retrace right there. That's the way it looks like right now. All right. DJT probably coming on down. Right back down. Targets down here. We maintained this watermelon seed squeeze, parking it right there on the roadmap line. Indecision. We can get some final squiggles right in this 32, 33 zone before we break down. Highly likely we go revisit the original price down here, or even make a lower low than the original SPAC priced back here at 10 before we can get higher on DJT. Hate to break it to you, AVGO. That looks like it's working on a retrace at this point. I told y'all last week I would, nobody wanted to take my bet that I bet this would trade below $200 a share in the next week. There we are, right there. Of course, the reverse split was a big hand tip that we would see that under $200, especially as we were topping out at 180, 1857. Cut that and divide it by 10, makes it 185, and now likely to see a retrace right back down here. It's just likely to be what we see. We haven't really touched that roadmap line since back here in November of 22. Not even November of last year. We're talking about November of 22, like October, November, when the market was correcting here. We didn't even hit. So this has been all the way since the market bottom. It's been hypoxic floating up here way above the support line. We look back in the history, it does do that kind of run for a while, and then we start arcing off and run out of steam and come back and touch. Then we can get going again. Then we touch, and sometimes we trade below. So watch out. Watch out, watch out, watch out. This is likely to go into some kind of consolidation until we touch the roadmap line at some point over here, possibly later in the year. All right. That is AVGO, lows. It's just kind of churning here. Not really breaking out, not really breaking down. Still churning inside the range that we kind of set back here. We made a low, we made a high, very choppy and overlapping. This is still just choppy and overlapping right in the sideways price action that we've had. Can we break out and head up here? Or do we break down and head down here? There's no clear pattern at this point. It's just not clear. It's just sideways. I'd expect more sideways. Possibly more in the range. We've got the range down to here at 169. We got the range up to here. It's about 262. So it's a $100 range, and we can just keep messing around, floating in that for now. Sorry, I don't have anything clear. That's just the chart's not clear at all on lows. And just skip the chart. UAL to short. Possibly. Watch out for the break above the roadmap line right there. It does. And it gets back above 51. Probably heading on up 58, 60. I'd be looking for more like that entry there than... I mean, look, we've been holding the lows pretty darn good right here. That one didn't even get close. That one rejected pretty swiftly. This one doing that rejection pretty swiftly yet again. That can lead to a higher high. Be careful on UAL. A-Rock. Arch Rock. That high, that low. Looks like we may find resistance at 23. Yep, that's prior high. Right over here. Got those prior highs right up in that zone. So if we go breaking on up, we may go retest that prior high on A-Rock. And Baba. Train going by. I want to see this break on out. We got above the roadmap line briefly, came right back down, touched it. If we can break above, get above that 618 right there. Takes us on up to 93, 96, 104 potentially. And maybe, just maybe, kicks us off for the bigger potential move up into this 200 area. 170 to 200 area up here. That's a reversal that's brewing with a higher low and a higher low and a higher low. 3 in a row, 3, 4 in a row. Right there. We got that low right there, that higher low, that higher low, that higher low. That is the kind of stuff we need to get an expansion higher, but we're just not doing it yet. Just not doing it. Still waiting. Forward. Ooh, looky there. Beautiful bounce. Beautiful bounce right up there. Almost to the target. That prior resistance. If we can break it, 15, get above that, possibly sets us all up to actually start going higher. Got to break above, like lower high, lower high, lower high so far. Got to start breaking, break above this high, break above this high. These ones back here, this one, and then we'll have this one. If we do that, possibly 32, possibly even 45. I have a video on YouTube that gave a like a 5-year kind of price target way on up there. And are we gonna do it? I don't know. It'd be pretty crazy if we break out and start running in a big way on forward. NVS. That one right there, coming up right into the target zone, 113, 120 above that. And watch out for another retrace. This one tends to do it quite often after making an extension. Novartis here. Elf Beauty. Look at that. Retracing. Probably going to touch the roadmap line one more time. Right in here. Before it goes ripping on off higher again. I did not get involved in this. Just I can't do it. The stove's hot. But that would be kind of what I expect. Retrace back in here, and then I'll pop up into that 234 area right there. Now, the warning sign would be if we break below this low here, then we might do a deeper retrace, possibly back into this zone down here around 91. Be like, oh, that would hurt. Yeah, it would. NTLA, that so far still bearish up into the roadmap line. We're going to have to get above, break higher highs. This high right here. This is all lower high stuff right here. Gonna have to beat above this. Gonna have to break up, retrace, hold that, and then get the bigger potential up right there. NKE, Nike. Look at that. Look at that. So close to my target. So close. Right there. I've been looking for that target since back here in, gosh, it was almost a year ago, like back in September last year, August, September. Drew this big down arrow, reaffirmed it here when we started breaking below in February. Here we are, so close, so close. I expect this to come on down that 68 area, maybe test support. It could truncate, could come up just shy, so it could bottom at any point. Now, how do you know when it bottomed? When it starts cruising back up, gets back above the roadmap line right up there. Break above that, get the move up, get the retrace that holds that. It's basically the same thing I drew in a second ago in red on the other chart for NTLA. Got to break above here, get a move up, retrace, and then get that bigger move up, right like that. Same pattern all the time. That's a reversal pattern, but right now, maybe a little lower, 68. How long could that take? It takes as long as it takes. I mean, that's, for example, CBRL, Cracker Barrel. Look at that. I drew that on the charts about the same time I drew that for Nike. We were back over here. Pretty sure I drew it on the charts, and then we hit up there in January. I took a short for a little while. I closed it. But we touched the top of the oval so far. Could come on down to 36, but we could bottom at any point here on Cracker Barrel. So be careful. AV, AVA, aerial environment. Right back to the roadmap line is where I expect that to go. Got close, but we didn't quite touch it. I expect it to kind of touch. And then support below that, right over here. Gap fill down. Be careful on AV. I don't like to pick bottoms. I like to wait till it does bottom and then try to pick it up where it hits a target. And there's no real support target that's clear at the moment. PRMW. Primo Water Corporation. It's Primo Water. It looks like it's going to retrace. Utilities had their day. This is beverages, non-alcoholic though. Primo Water. I don't know. Beverages, consumers having a hard time. Like, look at Celsius right here. Getting whacked. Let's see. Monster here. Getting whacked. KO. Not breaking out. PepsiCo getting whacked. So Coca-Cola is kind of like the lone man standing there. And your Primo Water sitting up here, but watch out. If the consumer shows weakness, this may get whacked. Be careful. ALC sitting there at resistance, 91, possibly 95 above that. And the roadmap line would be support down here around 84 for ALC, INFA. And that looks like we were breaking down, possibly going lower. Support down here around 21-ish. Right there. DELL, Dell Computers. Support down here around 110, 115. if we're going to do the bigger retrace right there, watch out for that one. Upside, I don't know. We could see an extension up here to 220, but that's a lower high and a lower high. Pushing red. Wouldn't surprise me to come touch this before we go do that. All right. Oh, excuse me. MCD. Watch out. This is a bearish setup for pushing lower. 232, 215 below that. And if something deeper gets rooted, like we could go way on down. It could get wicked. So right now, the line in the sand to watch out for, touch down here in this 232, 235 area, right down in here. Let's push down. Like we did make a lower low, but I don't think it's done yet. I don't think that's done yet. Now it could make a substantial retrace back up to the roadmap line before it makes another push down, and that would firm it up as far as targets, because we'd go from that low up to the roadmap line, and it would give us some extra targets in there, 237, 240, potentially. Right now, that's what that looks like. So you got resistance right up here at the roadmap line. Dun, 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 dun. Pull that on down, right down in here. And you got support down here. That's where we are, McDonald's. Not great. Bud. Come on, bud. Come on, bud. Come on, bud. That one, that downtrend of highs, we broke above, came back down through, just like Bitcoin. If we can break out here, probably project this thing much higher levels, possibly get up to 80, 90 area I was looking for like almost 2 years ago, it feels like. Golly, it's been a long time coming. I got long this back here in May of 23 with some like 26 options, I think it is. Hopefully I don't run out of time, but still waiting on that pop. Still waiting on that. I thought we were going to break out here. We rejected, came right back down. Need to just break out and cruise. This is a measured bounce setup, and it's just taking its sweet time to actually get measured bouncing. That's that's Bud for you. Now, sign in, we're going to break down. We're going to have to get below 57 to tip the odds. We're going on down, but right now that's still holding up in a bullish type pattern, and just sideways to bullish. So it's becoming less awesome the longer it takes to get going. Net. Consolidate back in here, broke back up through the roadmap line. If we can get a move above 94, possibly 135 on the upside, and a little bit better fib line would be 126 to 135 right there. Net for you. Tesla, we already did. Halo is a biotech. Warning. Warning, 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 warning. Biotech. And resistance right there. Biotechs don't always follow the pattern, so despite anything I might say, this may just do a crazy move that doesn't follow anything. So right now, this is a toss-up between being bullish, if we go cruising up here to 63, or turning down bearish, if we stop here and turn down. So if we turn down here in the next couple of days, break down below this roadmap line right in here, probably going lower low than what we had right back here. If indeed we break higher than this high back here at 59, cruise on up to 63, we'll probably do another consolidation, maybe retest these highs right here, all these prior highs. This breakout kind of level right here, go retest it, and then go higher from there. That's the two paths I kind of foresee right here. We either go cruising on up here, retrace, and do that, or we turn down from this area, break down below this, and go lower below that right there. And we could turn here. That's another possible. Like, it's not very clear which way it's going to go. So I don't focus on ones like that. I don't trade them. That's not my cup of tea, even though I kind of have some different potential paths. Just not what I'm looking for in the market. Starbucks. Oh, man. Man, oh, man. Double bottom. That could be the bottom, but we're going to have to get above the roadmap line and that giant freaking gap down it did right there to indicate we're going higher. Now, it could also break down and go right down here to 59 very, very easily. This is not even joking around a little bit here. That can very easily extend right down there on Starbucks. And NFA info. That looks like it's coming on down. Probably support right down here around 21. B. Riley. They got caught up in some crap, man. So they bought a stake in Cons, and then Cons got short attacked, and they're stuck. They're stuck in that deal in a bad way. And I don't even know if it's. I read it in. I don't even remember where I read it. It wasn't on Reddit, but I read that somewhere. Why were they underperforming? Because they took a big bet on Cons Home Plus or whatever, and they're getting ripped, short attacked. And then somehow it got made public what they were doing, and then somebody decided to short them, and ouch. So could that be the bottom? Well, it could. Gonna have to get back up to the roadmap line, back up to this to go higher. Looks like nothing at the moment. Just a bunch of nothing sideways, choppy, nothing. And moving on. MOS, I thought I already did that one. That was all the way up at the beginning. Still a crap chart. No difference from a few minutes ago. Fly away, flywire, fly away, flywire. Is another crap chart right there. Got a gap down. Below the roadmap line. Still crap. And EE is sitting here, turned down at that resistance point. Probably, I would expect it to retrace back down to the 67 area, find support, then turn up to go try to gain the strength to break on through, maybe up to 88 highs, the next set of highs. It's got a lot of stuff to work through for Nextera right there. SE. Dun, 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 dun. I expect this to retest these prior highs over here and the gap down. But we may go visit the roadmap line before we can get the strength to go test that up there. So that's the upside resistance. There's the supports, and there's no high probability jack squat set up in the charts right now. Yeah, that's SE for you. AMD, that's pretty easy one right here. Got resistance, same resistance we've had right up here, 189, 190-ish, 192-ish, right in there, 191, 192. And support at the roadmap line. If we get below that, we've got these lows from back here that we made in May, April, May. Yeah, I was going to say April. April was the first one. May was a little bit lower. If we don't hold that April, May low, coming down here, 95 to 110 area, then hunt for a bottom there. If we can break above this 91, 92-ish, probably go cruising on up to 250, possibly 300 on the upside. So this would look best if we actually do this bigger correction now, because it's just going to be an even bigger correction later if we don't do that. So there you go. It's kind of the levels. It's very, very clear right now. This is the upside upside resistance, upside resistance. This is the first support level, second support level, and third support level. And then the upside target just right there at 250. Right there. All right. Moving on. Uber. You liked Uber? New Uber? And tried really hard, did not get the close above the resistance. Sets it up for a move up to this 87 area right up here. A little more conservative target would be 85. Got to get above. Did not do it. And I still kind of think that if this turns down in a violent way, we may see that right there. Down this 54 area. Why? That high? 1 point, 2 point, 3 point. Puts it right down in there. All right there. All right. And that is Uber. MO. Volturia has resistance right there where we are. And then the 618 level, a little bit above it. Right there at 50. We get above that 50, 51 area. Sets the stage going up to 61 possibly. This is very choppy and overlapping and has not gone anywhere in a long freaking time. A long freaking time. 2018. That's 6 years of just sideways choppy garbage. Do you want to get involved in something that hasn't basically done anything in 6 years? Not me. That's not my kind of trade. I want to get into something that's trending. That's not it for me. GME has a potential. It keeps holding on to this potential to explode higher. Held a higher low yet again. Nice move up. Still has that potential to go rocking and rolling up here. Still holding 12 shares. We'll see what happens. See what happens. Still got the potential. Still a measured bounce. We'll see. It'd be crazy. Do I give it? I mean, I give it like 1% odds of actually doing that. But it can do it. PayPal, trying to salvage it here. Back up to the roadmap line. If we can get back above, break back above these. Gosh, it's been pretty stiff resistance right there. I mean, we turned down once, turned down twice, turned down 3 times, turned down 4 times. That is some stiff resistance right there. Need to get broken up through that if we're going higher. It still has the possibility, although we held that pretty good, still has the possibility if we get below that to go cruising right down here to 42, where I've been looking for that low for a long time. A long time. And Disney apparently had some documents get leaked from internal that weren't too good on the company. You can say that's the reason. That looked like it played out a 5-wave move up, and the retrace is support right here, almost there, right at this 93 area, right there. I'd like to see that one more push down into that, find support, turn, break above the roadmap line over here, and then I'd probably get long when we break above that right there for the next move, because that can be an explosive next move. 5-wave up right there, retrace right there. That next move potentially taking us up to 191 right there on Disney. It's gotta get that final little flush. Come up here, break above this, probably do this, retrace, and then that. What we've been looking for, and that could happen well into next year for Disney. ARM. And still pushing targets. 193 on the upside. One of these will be it, and then we'll retrace pretty deep, more than likely. This can continue indefinitely, but then eventually it's probably going to come back down here to 50 again and revisit. And NVDA. I mean, nothing's changed here for me. It's still probably going to retrace. Still highly likely to retrace back to the roadmap line somewhere over here at some point in time. Probably going to come back down somewhere, somehow, back over in here. And there's just a little upside left on that one. LITE finally working. My options came back alive. That target still up here, 78, 90, possibly 100 right there. Options were looking pretty dang good. I bought options back here. I don't even remember. Wherever it was. Maybe February. Oh, it's longer. It was longer than 120 days ago because my platform would not show me when I bought. So we bought somewhere back in here. And now we're starting to work. Those targets, 78, 90, possibly 110 right there. There you go. On the way. And PAR. PAR technology. That one's difficult because it's just in a channel-y looking thing. We've been on the upper side a while. We may come back down. One of these fast spikes. Did it once, did it twice. Been kind of hovering. We may see another fast spike. But we may also just keep going, chugging in that channel. Right there. If it breaks out, that's great. If it doesn't, it's probably just going to keep chugging the channel. It's kind of the expectation there. MU. Ooh, came up shy on my target up here at 220. I was hoping for the extension. We may retrace back to the roadmap line here. Watch out for the flush out there. UPS is at the roadmap line. That's a tough pattern. Was that the fake out and we go popping up here? We just retest the roadmap line and then go flushing on down. I don't know. It's difficult to tell which way we're going there on UPS. Now, coin. Is this going to be the breakout? Got to get above this. Indicate we're going on up here, 297.311, but that puts us into this resistance right here with these prior highs. And it's not really, we're not really clear of that zone until we're up here above like 350, 360. Then we could go heading on up to 500, possibly 600. But really wanted to see that hit the roadmap line. We did not hit it here in February. Last time we were there was in October. I really wanted to see it come visit again before we went higher again, but we just didn't do it. But we did on leverage coin. So if we break above that 65 area, we could see this very quickly appreciate to 100, 145, even bigger targets, 250, 300 on leveraged coin right there. And already went over Mara. Sound, potential for that to break above this $7 area, head up to 12, 13, but it is low price stuff under $10. Doesn't always fall in patterns. So be careful on that one. And TTD is just hovering. We've got resistance at the prior highs, and we're just in no man's land. We haven't retraced. We haven't broken out higher. Just in no man's land here. That's going to be resistance. This is support. At this point, it was resistance. You can see we had a hard time getting through it. Kind of back tested it. So it's support. That's the next resistance up there. I don't know. Can we get higher? I don't know. I don't know. Right, resistance is definitely right there at that all-time high. And the support here, and then all the way down here at the roadmap line, 86. So, didn't we get an alert on this today? I don't know what this is. I said use complete sentences. This is a vague word. BTBT, right there. We already went over earlier. CCOI is right here. We hit crypto miners before I even started. So if you missed it, it's right at the beginning. And this one, if we can get a close above here, possibly going on up here. Give this tool. Got to give a close above 70. Daily close up there sets the odds. We're going right up here to the target, around 92, right there on CCOI. If we reject and go down, could be lower, right down in here. Lower low than back here, probably. All right. CCOI and ET. Upside 16. Kind of at that resistance. Didn't hit the roadmap line. There you go. That's the long 16, possibly 17. And support down here at 15. And OZK. 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 Get all the letters. Bank of the Ozark. Right now we have a set of lower highs. Caution. If we can break out, that could be the bottom, but not convinced. That's what I would say. Possible. I don't like the fact we're still below this low. I would not take an entry until we're above here. Looking for only 54, 57, possibly. It's not huge upside resistance for the risk at this point. We do have, it's just a sloppy looking chart because we have this kind of like uptrend of lows and we got this downtrend of highs and just not awesome. Not awesome. And Barrick Mining, it's on down the list, is potentially going for that 1977 price right there. Target right there. That's it for gold. And Riot, already went over at the beginning, is not bullish at this point. BITO is just Bitcoin at this point, potentially having bounced here. If you're going to take an entry, you need to move all the way back up through this 27 area to get 36 on the upside. That's the activation point right here, and probably want to get above that high, so watch out for that right there, that little resistance zone, to get that move right up here into that target zone right there. That's BITO. And if we reject, watch out, go right down there, down to that 1775 area right there. But it'll probably go whichever way Bitcoin goes. ADP. That's just choppy sideways garbage right there. Hadn't gone anywhere in a number of years right there. Nowhere. No breakout, no breakdown, nothing. Nothing at all. Just chopping. Chopping. Got that high, that low, and we're just finding resistance over and over right there. Didn't flush down to a lower low. So at some point, this looks like it may do a flush down to a lower low than right here at 200. May get that flush right down there, or we can find a bottom and then go up higher like that. Anyway, there you go. SM. Yeah, we're below 70, so I'm going to wrap this up. 2 more requests, and I'm going to wrap it up here. So sorry more people didn't show up, but it's not worth my time to keep hanging out with nobody on the stream. So anything I said was beneficial, helpful. Hope you enjoyed it. 55 upside. CSIQ is going down in a blaze of glory. Probably going to continue down underneath that roadmap line and keep going down. Watch out. All right. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you later. I'm going to go probably meet my boys here in about an hour, maybe. Wrong and the boys be back. And I'll be back. Same bat time, same bat channel, 9:15 tomorrow morning. Like I do every morning. And have a great day, everybody. Bye for now.